In ancient times, in the eastern sea's Tang Valley, there were 10 sons, sons of the heavenly emperor. They adhered to their father's rule that only one sun could appear in the sky each day. After millions of years, they grew bored and decided to no longer follow their father's decree. They all appeared in the sky together, unaware of the terrible consequences their playful disobedience would bring. When the 10 suns appeared in the sky simultaneously, the whole world seemed to be engulfed in a sea of fire. The sky was no longer a clear blue but a strange mix of glaring white and red. The earth was scorched by the intense sunlight, and the air was filled with the scent of burning. The 10 blazing suns hung high in the sky, like merciless giants overlooking all living beings. Desperate and hungry, the people could no longer endure the presence of the 10 terrifying suns in the sky. With no other options, they thought of an ancient rain-asking ritual. According to customs, in times of severe drought, a shaman would be exposed on a mountaintop to communicate with the gods. Moved by pity, the gods would send rain. The people tied the shaman to a wooden frame, placed offerings around her, and then hid under rocks in fear, waiting for the rain to fall. However, after 7 days and nights of waiting, not a single drop of rain fell from the sky. The shaman died, and the people fell into deeper despair, helpless against the scorching suns. The intense heat brought more monstrous birds and beasts, emerging from the flaming forests and boiling rivers to ravage the people. Struggling in their suffering, life became increasingly difficult for them. At that time, Emperor Yao ruled the land. He shared the people's hardships but was powerless to help, only able to pray to the heavenly emperor daily. Emperor Di-Ku heard Yao's prayers, felt guilt, and was moved by Yao's piety. Even the gods were touched by the plight of the people and shed tears of compassion. Thus, the heavenly emperor summoned the divine archer Hou Yi, giving him a red bow and 10 white arrows, instructing him to scare his disobedient sons and teach them a lesson, making them return to Tang Valley and help Yao solve the country's difficulties. Hou Yi, with a face like polished jade and eyes like bright stars, had the physique of a tiger-backed ape-armed man, with a leopard's belly and a wolf's waist. He came to the mortal world, holding his red bow and white arrows, riding a white horse across the plains. He saw the hellish scene of the world. The crops in the fields had all withered, and the plants had turned into dry, yellow straw. The once lush forests were now reduced to charred trunks, with not a single green leaf in sight. The people had nowhere to hide, the children wailed on the cracked earth, and the elderly lay weakly in the shade, their eyes filled with despair. The tragic scene of scorched earth and scattered bones everywhere made Hou Yi burn with anger. However, the 10 suns in the sky seemed fearless, still playing and laughing with each other, ignoring the cries and suffering of the living beings below. Hou Yi could no longer endure it and decided to act on behalf of heaven, saving the people. He knocked a white arrow onto his red bow, drawing it to a full moon, and shot towards the sky. With a deep, piercing wail, one sun dimmed and fell. With only 9 suns left, the air immediately cooled down a bit. The people on the ground cheered as if they had seen a god sent to save them. This greatly encouraged Hou Yi, and without hesitation, he continued to shoot, one after another, until only 1 sun remained. At this point, Emperor Yao hurriedly stopped him, saying, "Without a sun, all living things will not grow, and the people will be forever plunged into the pain of eternal night." Hou Yi, understanding, slowly lowered his bow and kept the last sun. After resolving the calamity of the 10 suns appearing together, Hou Yi traveled around, hunting down the monsters that ravaged the land, ultimately exterminating the ferocious beasts that harmed the people. The human world once again became peaceful and serene. The previously unbearable climate gradually turned mild and pleasant. People no longer suffered from the intense heat, they could farm peacefully and enjoy the joy of a bountiful harvest. The people were no longer threatened by those monsters. Fear and anxiety left them, and Emperor Yao and all the people were deeply grateful to Hou Yi, praising his heroism in songs that spread among the populace. However, Hou Yi felt heavy-hearted. He had killed 9 of the Heavenly Emperor's sons, knowing the Heavenly Emperor would not forgive him. The Heavenly Emperor, upon learning that Hou Yi had shot his 9 sons, was indescribably angry. His sons were important representatives of the divine bloodline, and their lives being taken away was a deep wound for him. However, as the Heavenly Emperor, the ruler of all living beings, he displayed extraordinary wisdom and tolerance. He knew that behind Hou Yi's actions was the unforgivable and monstrous crime committed by his children, which brought great disaster to the human world. Therefore, despite his inner anger, he understood Hou Yi's predicament and decided to banish Hou Yi to the mortal world, making him immortal. The story of Hou Yi shooting the suns is a classic piece of Chinese mythology. It represents the ancient Chinese understanding of natural forces and the admiration for courage and wisdom. Hou Yi, as a heroic figure, overcame difficulties through his efforts and bravery, solving problems in the mortal world and saving humanity from the harm of the suns. The story of Hou Yi shooting the suns promotes the spirit of bravery, wisdom, and sacrifice, becoming an important symbol in Chinese culture, inspiring future generations to strive for progress and breakthroughs.